Hi, this is Meilin. Today I will be walking you through code for assignment chapter 3. So the first question is to convert the 3 tasks from previous exercise into questions. So the first task is to create a nested list of x and y filled with 0. So I have created this function which will take two integers x and y as input and then create the nested list filled with 0 as output. So for testing purposes, I have input x and y with 3 and 3, and by running the code, it will print out the nested list as expected. And then for task 2, we want to create a nested list again, but fill with 0 and 1, and we'll fill with 1 only if x mod y is equal to 0. So I have created this function to take two integers x and y as input, and then it will create the nested list. It will check the indexes whenever the index mode x mode y is 0, then it will fill the list with 1. Otherwise, it will be 0. And I want to note that, as noted in the description, we would want to use x plus 1 mode y plus 1 instead, as 1 mode 0 will return errors in Python. And also, another thing I want to note is that here's the example of nested list for this function. However, I have noticed that actually for any index of n and 0, the value will be filled with 1, as any n plus 1 mode 0 plus 1 will always return 0. So by running the code test with input 3 and 3, we will have the nested list as this. We will notice that any n and 0 index positions will have a value of 1. And then for task 3, I have created this function which takes again x and y as input in both integer numbers, and then we'll print out all the indexes where there are value 1 in the list. So I'm testing again with input 3 and 3, and by running this, we will have the output as expected, and this is corresponding to the output from task 2. So for example, we can see that all the positions with value 1 have been printed out. And then the last question is to create a function to calculate area of sphere, and the input for this function will be a float number as radius, and it will apply the equation which calculates area of sphere, use radius, and it will return the area. So by testing with input number of 3 as radius, we will see that the area of sphere of radius 3 is actually this value.